If you were over the age of, say, 45, you remember your first real heartbreak, don't you? Maybe you were 17, maybe you were 21 or 22, but you remember that pain. It was physical, even. It was visceral. It might have been like your chest was actually cracking open. You were convinced you'd never feel normal again, that you might actually die from this. And then you didn't die. You got up the next day or the next week or the next month and you went on. You learned something profound, though. You weren't the first person to experience this particular flavor of agony. You learned that joy and pain are inseparable parts of being human. You added something essential to your repertoire of what it means to be alive. My co author Jocelyn Davis, who secretly loves Taylor Swift's work, pointed me to a song that captures exactly what we're losing. It's called The Way I Loved You. Maybe you know it. Swift sings about having a boyfriend who's perfect, who's polite, who's respectful, who does everything right, but she's miserable because what she actually misses is the intensity, the crying, the screaming sometimes, kissing in the rain, being so in love you act a little insane. She misses feeling something real, even when it hurt. That's what heartbreak teaches you, that aliveness and pain that comes as a package deal. But here's what's changed and why leaders and parents need to pay attention. Young people today are opting out of romantic relationships altogether. Teen dating has dropped precipitously, and here's the part that alarms me: 23% of millennials and 33% of Gen Z have had romantic interactions with AI chatbots. Now, let me say that again: 1 in 3 Gen Zers. Among young men, which they use it more than women do, aged 18 to 30, 31% have chatted with AI romantic partners. For young women, it's 23%. They're choosing bots over humans because bots feel safer. You know what relationship advice I've been giving my friends for years, for decades actually? Go get your heart broken. Go back to that relationship. As long as it's not physically or sexually abusive, go back to it. Might work out for all we know, but live it all out. Feel it all. And let me tell you, I was the only one offering this advice for these friends' worlds. Everyone else was offering protection, caution, be careful. I was saying, jump in, risk it, let yourself get wrecked, because that's how you learn. That's how you feel. That's how you become a full human being. And here's the mistake we made with millennials and Gen Z. We taught them that feeling good all the time was the goal. The negative emotions should be prevented or fixed immediately. And what happened? Depression, anxiety at record rates, and now a generation that would rather talk to algorithms than risk being hurt by another human being. Because life isn't supposed to feel good all the time. Discomfort, friction, pain, they are not bugs in the system. They are actually features. They're how we grow. We've become an Enneagram Type 3 culture. If you know Enneagram at all, the Type 3 is achievement-oriented people. They're image-focused. They're obsessed sometimes with efficiency, with measurable success, and all that can be really good. It can help us stay ahead financially and also inspire people to do their best. But Type 3s at their worst avoid feelings, especially the difficult ones, in service of looking good and staying productive. Short-term thinking has colonized not just our workplaces, but our intimate lives. I mean, why risk the mess of a real relationship when you can, swipe and ghost or chat with an AI that never disappoints you and says that you're wonderful all the time? One of our interviewees, Davin, said something that stopped both Jocelyn and I cold. She says, we have to let the wounds do the work. It's great. A real romantic relationship, especially early in life, forces you to confront your impact on another human being. You learn how your words land. You learn to tolerate discomfort, to sit with someone else's disappointment, to repair ruptures instead of running. You learn how to engage with personalities and leftover stuff from upbringings that aren't yours. If you never enter that arena, you remain unaware of your impact. You don't develop the thousands of micro skills required to stay connected through tension, through conflict. through bigger emotions. And this absolutely affects the workplace. Teams are avoiding conflict at higher rates. People ghost difficult conversations. They hide behind direct messages or messages texted out or emails. They treat any pushback very often as psychological harm. You cannot build anything meaningful, not a relationship, not a team, not a career, without friction, without the willingness to stay in the room when it gets hard. I mean, I've always said it's easy when it's easy, it's hard when it's hard. Where do you want to play? You need to play in both. If you're a leader with children or young employees under 40, here's your takeaway. Encourage them to take relationship risks everywhere in their lives. Not with a chatbot, maybe as practice, but that's about it. With an actual human who can hurt them. Show them that listening through discomfort is a skill, that you don't have to fix every negative emotion immediately or even at all. That sometimes the most loving thing is simply staying present while someone struggles. Because the capacity to do that in romance, it translates directly to teams, to leadership, to holding space for hard conversations without collapsing into either harsh dismissal or maybe therapeutic over accommodation, to collapse into tears potentially because you've had some practice. This month's newsletter includes a Kurt Vonnegut quote, and here it is. We are dancing animals. How beautiful it is to get up and go do something. But you can't dance if you're afraid to move. You can't love if you are afraid to lose. And you can't lead if you've never learned to stay when things get uncomfortable. Don't just protect young people from heartbreak. Help them understand that heartbreak with a real person, not a bot, is part of how we become fully human. Let the wounds do the work, indeed. See you next month.